First up are potions that can grant you the ability to cast spells like Fireball, Icestorm, Lightning Bolt, Acid Arrow, and more. And it's impossible to get all of them in a single playthrough because with some of these you can only get one per playthrough. So chances are most players won't know some of these potions even exist. These potions last until long rest, similar to Elixirs, and can be acquired from none other than Araj Oblodra in Moonrise Towers. In exchange for your blood, Araj will give you a potion made from it. The effects vary wildly depending on your race, and since you can only choose one race for your Tav, you're going to be left with the remaining races from hirelings or companions and will inevitably miss what some of these other potions are capable of. These elixirs stack with other elixirs, such as Elixir of Hill Giant Strength, and they also stack with other blood elixirs. So you might as well get one blood elixir per character, and you can even bring hirelings to donate blood to for a grand total of 20 blood elixirs if you also have each companion and origin character talk with Araj. You can also get paid 200 gold per character if you select the dialogue option asking what she is planning to do with your blood, and then pass a history check. So make sure to ask first on a character with either history proficiency or high intelligence for an easy 4,000 gold from this. Now, some of the best potions from Araj are actually the Dragonborn potions, which are all called Elixir of Dragonborn Prowess. But there's 5 different types, one for each element, which come from the different Dragonborn sub-races. All of these Dragonborn elixirs grant advantage on intimidation and persuasion checks, which is perfect for a Tav, and each elixir also grants resistance to the corresponding element based on the Draconic sub-race of the blood donor. The acid variant grants resistance to acid damage, for example. These Dragonborn elixirs are the most rare since there are no Dragonborn companions or hirelings, meaning you can only get them as a Tav Dragonborn, and you're limited to one per playthrough because of that. Each of the Dragonborn elixirs also grant you a new spell you can cast. The acid variant allows you to cast Acid Arrow, for example. The Elixir of Draconic Prowess Acid can be created from the blood of a black or copper Dragonborn. The lightning variant comes from blue or bronze Dragonborn and grants resistance to lightning and the spell Lightning Bolt, which you'd have to be at least level 5 to learn normally, so this could get you this spell sooner than you'd otherwise be able to if you rush for it. And the fire variant grants resistance to fire damage, and the Fireball spell is from the blood of a brass or gold Dragonborn. And the poison variant grants resistance to poison and Ray of Sickness, which is from the green Dragonborn blood. And the last of the Dragonborn elixirs, the Elixir of Dragonborn Prowess Frost, grants resistance to cold damage and the spell Icestorm, which would otherwise require level 7 to be able to cast. So it's pretty amazing to get this from an elixir along with all the other bonuses from the Dragonborn Prowess elixirs. And this Frost variant can be made from the blood of silver or white Dragonborn, which means if you're playing a default Dark Urge, which is a white Dragonborn, you'd get this elixir. Now, the Elixir of Githyanki Providence is made from Githyanki blood and grants 3 new spells. You get Blur, Misty Step, and Enhanced Leap. However, even though Enhanced Leap is a ritual spell, like all the spells granted from these elixirs, it can only be cast once. The Elixir of Elven Elegance grants a jaw-dropping amount of movement speed, 10 meters or 33 feet. Now, if you thought Longstrider was good, which grants 3 meters or 10 feet of move speed, this elixir will blow your mind. 33 feet is some characters' entire move speed for a turn, which means this can basically double that for them, and it stacks with Longstrider. This can be extremely helpful, especially against Phase 2 Ketheric, for example, where the Night Song is trapped again, allowing you to rush right to her and free her on your first turn. The potion also grants Dark Vision and can't be charmed. This potion is made from the blood of a drow or elf. And the Elixir of Dwarven Resilience adds your proficiency bonus to saving throws until you succeed 3 of them. This is actually quite strong and can really make the difference in certain fights against perhaps crowd control spells that would otherwise make you lose control of your character. And you can of course get this potion from any type of dwarf, but also the Dwergar hireling has dwarven blood, so their blood also works to make this potion too. The Elixir of Gnomish Ingenuity grants the spell Knock, which unlocks a mundane lock, and unlike the other spells which can be used only once, this can actually be refreshed and used again and again on short rest or by changing regions. This elixir also grants proficiency in sleight of hand checks, which really helps out a lot if you don't have a dedicated character for lockpicking, and since there is a hireling gnome, everyone can have access to this potion on every playthrough too. The Elixir of Half-Elven Healing causes an area of effect heal for 1d20 plus your Constitution modifier. This will be stronger later in the game when your Constitution modifier is higher, especially after you get the Amulet of Greater Health, setting your constitution to 23. It's also paired well with Hellrider's Pride, granting Blade Ward to all targets you heal and other on-heal effects. This elixir is made from half-elven blood, which is available from both Shadowheart and hirelings. And the elixir of half-orcish fury grants you +1 HP when you're downed. Now this can be a literal lifesaver if you would otherwise fall to your death or are up against a difficult boss fight, and luckily enough there is a half-orc hireling, so you can also get this every playthrough, and it might just save your honor run when you least expect it. And the elixir of halfling luck is also incredible. It grants advantage on all skill checks until long rest. Now this is the one elixir out of all of them that I would highly recommend everyone get during their playthrough. The Dragonborn elixir granting advantage on intimidation and persuasion checks looks weak compared to advantage on all skill checks, whether that be sleight of hand, perception, survival, or any of the charisma dialogue checks. Advantage on all of them is incredibly useful, and everyone can get this potion thanks to Brenna Brightsong, the one and only halfling hireling. And the elixir of human versatility is also very strong. Just like the halfling elixir, it grants proficiency in all skills. Depending on your proficiency bonus, this can be a huge help in succeeding skill checks, and when combined with halfling luck, you'd have to be pretty unlucky to fail skill checks. There's plenty of human blood to go around too. We have Gale, Will, and the hireling Madala Deadeye, which can provide us with proficiency in all skills for quite some time. Finally, the elixir of Tiefling Vice grants Hellish Rebuke, a spell that deals fire damage that is used as a reaction to being attacked. Thaumaturgy, which grants advantage on intimidation and performance checks, which can be used in dialogue. Burning Hands, which is a cone AoE fire damage spell, and Flame Blade, which conjures a blade of fire. Not the most impressive elixir out of all of the other options, but it can be helpful, especially if used on a fire damage based character. Now, other than these potions from Araj, there is yet another spell in a bottle called Bottled Breath. Drinking this potion allows you to cast Gust of Wind. The patch 6 notes claim to have fixed the Bottled Breath potion. Previously, you could cast Gust of Wind an infinite number of times after drinking this potion, but no longer. However, also in patch 6, perhaps its location has changed. According to the BG3 wiki, it should be found in Alexander Rainforest's basement on an altar, but instead, there's only a potion of Featherfall. So, to be seen where that potion still is. And if you like that tip, if you could do me a huge favor and click like and subscribe, it's my dream to hit 100,000 subscribers, and we are so close. Thank you so much for your support. And next up is how to make your cantrips target all enemies within an AoE. This can be incredibly powerful, allowing you to deal hundreds of damage with just a cantrip. To do this, you'll need to be at least a level 2 sorcerer with Twin spell and have the Gemini gloves. The Gemini gloves are secretly overpowered because of a strange interaction with Twin spell, causing your cantrips to target everyone within an AoE. This works with cantrips like Vicious Mockery, Thorn Whip, True Strike, Bone Chill, and Sacred Flame. All other cantrips do not work from my testing in patch 6. All you need to do is cast Metamagic Twin spell, then Adroit Caster, and your next cantrip will be used on every enemy within the displayed AoE. You can deal some extremely massive damage with this combination, and the best part about this is that Adroit Caster from Gemini Gloves is refreshed from a short rest. To get these gloves, you'll need to purchase them from Helsik in the Devil's Fee in Act 3 after you confront her about being a Diabolist, and then you'll be able to purchase the gloves. Discovering that Helsik is a Diabolist can be done by defeating Gortash and reading the note from Helsik found on his corpse. This combo works great with Potent Robes, which cause your cantrips to deal additional damage equal to your charisma modifier, so you could use this as your AoE option on a Warlock when you're not Eldritch Blasting. And next up is Improved Bardic Inspiration. This hidden class action doesn't even cost a Bardic Inspiration charge, and it can roll twice as high as the regular Bardic Inspiration, granting a 1d12 bonus to your target's next attack roll, ability check, or saving throw. This can be a huge help on a DC 30 roll or when you really need to succeed on an attack roll or saving throw. This amazing permanent class action can be learned from our favorite bard tiefling, Elfira. After you defeat Ketheric Thorm in Act 2, Elfira is on the top of the stairs looking for someone to play a song with to cheer up the children. If you are a bard, then you'll automatically get this class action by agreeing to play with her, but unfortunately, this secret class action is only for bards, even if you know how to perform as a non-bard. But it's an amazing permanent ability that you might not have known about if you've never played a bard, and even if you have, you might leave for Act 3 before talking to Elfira. Not to mention, her survival to the end of Act 3 is certainly not guaranteed in every playthrough. And next up is an amazing ring that revives you with with half your health after you become downed. This is probably the best way to keep a character alive, since most other heal upon becoming downed effects usually just heal for 1 health. Going straight to half health is amazing. This ring is called After Death Do Us Part, and the restoration from downed should come with a drawback, becoming possessed by the shadows, but currently as of patch 6, the effect fades immediately and you're left without any drawbacks. This may change in the future, but for now, it's amazing. Getting this ring is no small feat, however. You'll need to save Oscar Favras from the Zhentarim outpost in Act 1, and then later in Act 3, enter Lady Janeth's now haunted estate. It's filled with poltergeists and haunted skulls that make maneuvering very difficult. You can silence them, which stops them from using their spells on you, and you'll eventually find a painting on the top floor, along with a note from Mystic Carrion, which leads you down a quest chain involving discovering Oscar's past lover is haunting the estate, thanks to a deal Oscar made with Mystic Carrion. Once you come to an agreement with Mystic Carrion and return to the estate, you are faced with a decision. Do you let the poltergeist consume Oscar, destroy the poltergeist, or convince it to rest in peace? Now, 2 of the 3 outcomes result in you getting the ring. Either destroy the poltergeist or let it consume Oscar. So unfortunately, the happy ending is sort of not going to result in getting this ring. Letting the ghost explain itself and leave peacefully results in getting the painting you were promised in Act 1, but you don't get the ring. And I'd say it's a very powerful ring, so I'd recommend getting it, especially if you're almost finished with your honor run. It could potentially save you later on. And next up, if you thought you heard the last of rare potions in this video, we're back with another round of secretly great potions, this time of the Green Hag variety. Inside the Acrid Workshop, deep within the Hag's Lair in Act 1, there's a selection of potions laid out. Among them, there are 3 worth drinking, and the rest are totally worthless. As amazing as it would be, throwing them at your enemies has no effect. Now, in order from best to worst, the best potion to drink is the Heart of Stone. This simply grants resistance to poison damage until long rest. It's great and has no drawbacks. You'd usually have to sacrifice a ring slot or an elixir if you wanted resistance to poison, but instead, this potion has you covered. The second best is Broken Promises. This grants +2 strength until long rest, at which point, afterwards, it becomes -1 strength permanently. Like many permanent buffs in Baldur's Gate 3, you can actually lose this by dying. So while in camp after that long rest that converts your +2 to -1 strength, take down the Imbiber and then revive them to clear that drawback. +2 strength is great and can definitely be worth it, especially on a tavern brawler. And then the last potion, a Mother's Loathing. It's not great, but it has no drawback. It gives you the ability to bite each turn until long rest. Now, the damage isn't much, but if you ever wanted to be able to bite like Astarion, this potion gives you fangs. And next up is the Sanguine Explosive. This bomb deals a massive 8 to 64 damage, and half of that comes from force, which rarely enemies have resistance to, and half from fire. With such a high max damage, and due to its area of effect, it's quite a powerful bomb. But to get this explosive, you'll need to head to the Crimson Drought in Act 3 and talk to Araj Oblodra. After agreeing to take part in her experiments once again, you can further donate blood to her to replenish her stock of Sanguine Explosives. Each donation yields 2 bombs that you can then buy from her. However, you can only donate once per long rest. Now, most players probably miss this after donating again because you might not even notice that your donation did anything. So it's a pretty rare explosive that most players probably don't even notice. And next up is how to free the guards that are seemingly under Cazador's spell in Act 3. These guards are stationed near the entrance to the Tsar Palace and immediately demand you leave upon encountering them. After you pass a dialogue check, you can pass freely. However, if you cast Calm Emotions on the guards, you can actually break the spell that is charming them. As Calm Emotions reads, it renders humanoids immune to charm, frightened, or enraged, and those effects end immediately. Upon using this on the guards, they snap out of it, shocked by where they are, and immediately rush to go home. This spell probably has a lot more uses that still need to be explored too, other than this one. Next up is a hidden buff that is tucked away in Act 3. This buff grants a 1d6 bonus to attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws until long rest. Essentially, it's a bless, but even stronger. To get this buff, you'll need to head to Sharess's Caress, go upstairs, and break down the door to the Nymph's Grotto. In there, you'll find Nisha and Jara. Your presence appears to trigger Jara's transformation into a Mind Flayer. Once you slay it and choose the right dialogue options with Nisha, she will begin a strange ritual she calls Rapture with you. And at the end of it, you'll receive this hidden boon. And next up is a fun combination with the the Clown Hammer. Found on what appears to be Dribbles the Clown, on critical strike with this hammer, you cause your target and yourself to be afflicted by Tasha's hideous laughter if you fail the DC 17 saving throw. Now, that's a pretty high difficulty class, and you can become completely immune to it by wearing clown face paint, which is also found on Dribbles, or you can even purchase more of it at the Circus of the Last Days. It's a pretty funny combination considering it requires you to look at a clown as you go around whacking people with a clown hammer while you're actually immune to the drawback of it because of the paint, but it's a pretty nice combo, especially if you can start guaranteeing critical hits with Drow Poison, Crawler Mucus, or Hold Person. And next up is the Ritual Dagger. This dagger grants you a bonus action called Blood Sacrifice that grants you a bonus 1d4 to attack rolls and saving throws at the cost of 1d4 slashing damage. This is essentially a self-bless that lasts for one turn. It can be used every turn and might actually be useful on characters that can benefit from being low health. For example, Loviatar's Love grants +2 to attack rolls and wisdom saving throws when below 30% hit points. Moondrop Pendant lets you no longer provoke attacks of opportunity when below 50% hit points, or best of all, the Helmet of Grit, which grants you an extra bonus action when below 50% hit points. And this dagger can help you get low health and stay there with the added bonus of 1d4 to your attack rolls and saving throws. Now, since the dagger itself has weak damage, it would probably best be used on a ranged character, and to find this hidden dagger, you'll need to head to the Shattered Sanctum. There you'll find Abdurak wielding the dagger. Interestingly, at some point he will actually throw the dagger on the ground and you can just loot it, and so if you usually just slay Abdurak for his loot, then this dagger might not show up and instead you just get his mace, so make sure to check around the room if he's not holding it. And those are the 10 secrets you may have missed in Baldur's Gate 3. If you like the video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.